guest is a busy mom juggling catfights, marriage, and a whole lot of shade. We are so happy to have her here for the Real Housewives of Potomac Takeover Week. Please welcome Ashley Darby.
Yes!
Welcome,
ladies!
How are you, babe?
How are you? Amazing. Thank you. This
Guys, our girls group, let's do this.
We coordinated and we didn't even know
Welcome,
it.
I know. Right here.
We were on the same wavelength.
I love it. I want to
you.
jump right in. So
Yes.
obviously, Wendy Osefo was supposed to be here with you, but she
Yes.
actually couldn't make it because of a family emergency.
Yes.
How is she doing? Is she okay?
Yes, from what I understand, it's a pretty serious thing, so we really need to keep Wendy and her family in our prayers. Yeah. And we've all come together, the ladies, especially when it comes to our families, that's one area where we really do have each other's back, so.
That is so important. Now,
Yes.
obviously, we've seen Wendy at the center of a lot of controversy this season regarding her mommy makeover. Do you think that it was fair that people felt like they could judge her for that?
Okay, the record needs to be set straight here. No one was judging the fact that Wendy wanted to enhance herself. That is completely okay. I have breast implants. There is no way that I'm gonna shade anybody else for doing it. What we were saying is that it's just a different person than who Wendy came into the group as. So more so, it was like your personality was different, not just her physical appearance. That's what we were asking.
It was an internal and an external makeover, in your
Yeah.
guys' opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Now, you were Miss DC in 2011.
Yes.
So you were a pageant queen before.
Yes.
And it just like, it oozes through you. I can see it in your posture.
Oh,
you know
man.
what I mean?
I know, it's a very full year because you're competing for Miss America, which is a 100-year-old tradition. And thankfully, it's not just about beauty, it's about scholarship, success, service, and style. So you're basically meant to be this well-rounded queen. And in that year, I learned so much. And it prepared me immensely to be amongst these group of ladies.
Really? How?
Which part?
Yeah.
I feel like I know how to hold my own, and even if I'm getting bothered or something is getting under my skin, I am able to just keep it calm, cool, and collected. And you know, Candace is also a pageant girl, so we specialize in the nice nasty, and we can keep it cordial.
Nasty.
Yes.
It's a specialty.
It is. It's a skill, too.
I feel like another skill that you could be schooling me on right here is having babies, because you've had your second baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Looking phenomenal.
Thank you.
So how has motherhood changed you? Like, what can I expect?
It's the best journey ever that you will go on. And the one thing that no one actually told me this is that it really does take an army. It takes a village around you. So whomever is willing to give you a hand, whoever is there to help you with your laundry, your cooking, your cleaning. I know your mom is going to be very, very helpful.
She's employed. You're hired, Mom.
Yes. She's gonna be the best.
Anywhere that you can delegate some of that responsibility, just do it.
Now, being on a reality show, nothing is really private anymore at all, including some of your marital troubles. So what was it like seeing that play out in the public eye? Because it's obviously been on the show and also on social media.
Girl, it was a little rough in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, but my husband and I have actually gotten stronger because of it. Now, I didn't really have an example of marriage growing up. My parents are divorced, my grandparents got divorced, so the only real example of a marriage that I had was my aunt and uncle, and they're like my second set of parents, right? So I had to really make my own rules of marriage. I'm not a conventional person, I'm open about my sexuality, I'm open about who I am, and I just don't feel like my marriage had to conform to those standards as well. And it's going to rub some people the wrong way because it's different. Yeah, you can't fit us into a square peg.
Yeah, and I think if you're open about it, at least that's a start. Like if you were hiding it, then you'd have people calling you out and trying to drag you for something, but you sound like you're pretty front and center about it.
Oh, yeah. I've been open about our marriage. It's really something that we have had to tailor it to be our own. And I think that because we live in a society that can be so tunnel vision as to what things are supposed to look like, conventionality, when you break the norm, it doesn't always,
So those
work.
problems don't bother you, it bothers other people.
100%.
Yeah, and those other people are like the ladies of Potomac, because they called Michael out recently, Mia did specifically. How did that feel when you're like sitting there having to defend your husband in the group?
Well, the reason that comment bothered me from Mia was because Mia just got here. So for her to all of a sudden use that as something she wanted to bring into the conversation, that was what pissed me off. Whether it had been something that Candace said, which would have been expected, or even Robin or Giselle, they know me, they know my husband, we have history. But for Mia, I was like, girl, this is just so out of left field. Where are you coming from with this?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, another person you just mentioned, Candace, has also said some pretty nasty things about you. How do you feel about that? And do you think that she hits below the belt?
It has been a very difficult road that I've had with Candace. Now, Candace is incredibly smart. She's super intelligent. She speaks very well. She's a great orator. But she doesn't really have the EQ. Her emotional intelligence, I think, needs some work because she doesn't really know what should be off limits. And she prides herself in really like getting to the white meat. But that's really hurtful.
What do you
especially
feel
about
is one of the
family.
things that was like way off limits? Like where did she go that you felt like was just so wrong?
Where we really went off the tracks is when she was saying that my husband wasn't really sad about us having a miscarriage, which I'm actually getting tingly thinking about it now because that was such a traumatic time for me and Michael.
Yeah.
So for her to say, oh, he's not really sad about it, y'all weren't really trying to have a baby, it was something she doesn't understand, and she was really just picking at me.
Right, and I wonder if sometimes when you're on TV, I wonder if it like brings out a side of you that maybe you wouldn't have said in person. Not that it makes it any better, but like there's a performative space in there too, and I can't imagine someone saying that in real life. That's terrible.
Surely, but there has to be a boundary.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where hopefully sometime, and if she does decide to become a mom, I think it will help her establish better boundaries and understand people better.
Yeah.